Hello and welcome back to another F1 video. Today we're doing our second episode of my career, and we're at Baharain, and we are going to be in a Toro Rosso. See you guys at the grid. Goodbye.
There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Sakhir circuit this evening as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out will have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Weber, Lewis Hamilton and Bottas, Butler, Hülkenberg, Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen. The captain, Sainz, George Russell and Kvyat, Albon, Kubica, Lance Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo. Perez and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
We qualified P11, which is way better than P19, so we're hoping to get some valuable points for that Constructors' Championship. We are not going to do two mediums, we're going to do two softs and one medium, push that back a little bit so we can have more time loss. Then we're going to go to formation lap, and I'll see you guys when we are starting the race. We are now starting the race, and we're behind Romain Grosjean, and right in front of us Carlos Sainz in his Renault. He had a way better qualifying this session, last session. We had a better start with Romain Grosjean, and extended up to the inside of Romain Grosjean. Oh, Carlos Sainz! He goes up the inside, and we almost made contact. We made a contact with Romain Grosjean. We made contact with Nico Hülkenberg too in his Mercedes. We were on P10. And Vettel's behind us in his Alfa Romeo. As we go down the straight and we make a dive around again, we get Nico Hülkenberg in his Mercedes. Oh, we slide a little bit though, so we do not get Nico Hülkenberg in his Mercedes. And now Sebastian Vettel has really caught up to us. So he must have passed Romain Grosjean at the start. And we almost made contact with Nico Hülkenberg as we go into that 180-degree turn. And we go into the hard left-hander as we make contact with Romain Grosjean and do not lose any valuable front wing. And now we're pulling a little bit away from Sebastian Vettel as we go up the inside of Nico Hülkenberg, and hopefully that stays like that. And Lance Stroll, actually no, Valtteri Bottas is in front of us now. And they're sliding around. And that was not a good entry and exit to that, and as Nico Hülkenberg catches us up again, this is going to be a very long fight with Nico Hülkenberg. As we go down to the last turn as the first lap, and catching back up to Valtteri Bottas, as Lucas Weber does the fastest lap, and Nico Hülkenberg is going a little bit back and pulling away from it. But Sebastian Vettel is trying to get past Nico Hülkenberg, as now we're going up the inside of Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, but it does not work. Nico Hülkenberg is still behind us on lap 2 or 3. As now we try to go on the outside, but it does not work for Valtteri Bottas either. He's being very defensive as Nico Hülkenberg goes up our inside, but we will brake a little later than him and squeeze him off. As now, Valtteri Bottas is pulling away from us, but we will not have any of that. We're catching back up to him as we pull away from Nico Hülkenberg. And Valtteri Bottas is catching a person in front. Who is that person? That person is Sainz. Carlos Sainz. He passed us. I forgot. Yeah, he dive-bombed us in the first corner. As now we're catching it back up to Carlos Sainz. So we're going to pass the Spaniard on the third lap of the Grand Prix. Oh, he tries to make a dive bomb. It will also goes defensive, but it will not work. Wait, no. Oh, we're switchback move, but it still didn't work, and we're gonna go into P8. As now we're going down the pit straight, and Valtteri Bottas is in front of us. We're catching back up to him. We're gonna make a dive bomb into turn 1. He tries to go defensive. It doesn't work though, and we get to position. He does make a little bit of a switchback, but it does not work. As now we're going to try to catch Lewis Hamilton in his Alfa Romeo, which probably won't work because it's the second in the Constructors' Championship. As now Valtteri Bottas tries to pass us, but it does not work, and we're still going to be in P7. Oh, he gets a second chance though. Still doesn't work, and we're going to be back into P7 again as Valtteri Bottas is catching us up again. This man is really trying to get P7 back in his Red Bull, because Red Bull's not doing too good. We're actually Toro Rosso, but Red Bull, it's like the junior team in F1. As now we can see Lewis Hamilton now. Valtteri Bottas is turning on our inside, but it does not work too. As Sebastian Vettel tries to pass Valtteri Bottas, and he does. Well, no, they're still side by side though. Sebastian Vettel is still there. He's still trying to pass him, and he's probably going to pass him on this turn right here. Yep, he does pass Valtteri Bottas on that turn. As now Lewis Hamilton is pulling away from us as Sebastian Vettel comes closer to us, and we're going to pit this lap. As we go into the pits, we're going to get some soft tires, and Sebastian Vettel is going past us. So who's going to pass us now? We got Kimi Räikkönen. Is Nico Hülkenberg is going to pass us, and a ton of people. Lance Stroll's now behind us, and Lance Stroll is going to pass us. Then it's Sergio Perez, and then it's Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, Ricardo, and Pierre Gasly's in last place in his McLaren, not doing too good for the Frenchman.
Okay, you only have to stop once.
As now we come out of the pit lane, just behind Pierre Gasly. But he does not get to that position, and we are now in P19. As now we're going down the next lap down the pit straight. We're going to catch up to Nico Hülkenberg as we pass him in the pits, and we're also going to pass Sebastian Vettel in his Alfa Romeo by a lot. So Daniel Ricciardo is in front of us because he has not pit yet. As Sebastian Vettel does get a little bit closer, but he's not our teammate is in the pits of Daniel Kvyat, and we're going to pass him, and we're also going to pass Sainz, or Kvyat Butler. I haven't seen a lot of those, and we're just going to be right behind Ricardo in P9 and P10 now in the points paying positions, and we're on lap 11 of 29 laps up in the 50% race. As now we send it up the inside of the Australian, and he does get a little bit of a second try, but it does not work, and we're going to be in P9 now as we go on the pit straight, and we're going to pass Lance Stroll and Raikkonen and Perez, and not Weber. Weber is right there in front of us. There's Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez in front of us. No, it's Weber. It's Lucas Weber in front of us. As we try to we cut him off, and we do get a warning for that, but it was very dirty driving by me. That was not, there should have gotten a penalty. And we're catching up Sergio Perez here. We can dive bomb on the Mexican, and we get the stick, and we're now in P4 of 20, as nobody has DNF'd yet. As Alex Albon, our person that got a photo finish, we're going to get some payback, but he does go into the pit straight, and we get his position now in P3. Romain Grosjean is on the section as a safety car comes out, and we're going to catch up to Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc in their Ferraris. Here we are going into the pits because we're going to make one more stop and might not make it under the safety car to get a free pit stop. as now we go probably going to come out in P17 or P18 as we're going on to the hard compound because there is still quite a few laps left into this Baharain Grand Prix. And now we are coming out, and now it's Alex Albon behind us, but he's going to pass us, then Nico Hulkenberg, Kubica, Sainz, Ricardo's going to pass us, and we're going to come right in front of Sergio Perez in his racing point, as Ricardo cuts us off a little bit so we do not pass him, but we're going to go catch up to the safety car queue so we can do it. And now we're here on the restart lap, on lap 16, going on to lap 17, as Sergio Perez gets a little bit closer to us. With the restart, we got a bad restart because we went on to we got off of the track. And now Sergio Perez comes up to us as he tries to pass us, and we ended up the inside of Ricardo, almost made contact with Lance Stroll in his Red Bull, and we do not get a pass, the Australian now. And now Sergio Perez is trying to pass us. We don't let him. Oh, he does get a little bit of that nose in there, but we brake later and we keep that position and get another position out of Ricardo, the Australian, in the Renault. As now we are behind Lance Stroll in his Red Bull, and we are going to try to catch up to him as we send it up the inside of Sainz and Lance Stroll. Now behind our teammate Daniel Kvyat. And lap 17, there's just a restart lap, and we send it to the inside. That's Kubica to pass Kubica and our teammate Daniel Kvyat. Hopefully he gets some points in this GP because he is only just in P14 and he can pass easily 4 cars. As now we're gonna go pass here. Nico Hulkenberg in his Mercedes. We're gonna pass him, and we slide a little bit, but we still keep the position. It's Alex Albon in his McLaren right there, and I don't know who's passing, and we're going to send it to the inside. Are we going to get it to stick? No. And yes, and the McLaren is going to kind of pull away from us because it isn't a better car, but it is still a good car. And we make some contact with Valtteri Bottas in his Red Bull, and we pass Kimi Räikkönen and Lance Stroll. Alex Albon. And now we pass Valtteri Bottas on the outside, and we're going to pass Lucas Weber on the outside too, as now we're behind Max Verstappen, and we're going to go try to catch him within these laps, within the next 11 laps of this Grand Prix, which is going to be very intense. Now we're on lap 26 of 29. Actually, no, lap 27, there's 3 laps remaining, as we're getting really close to Max Verstappen. And we're getting really close to his back end right here, as that is Lando Norris in his I don't remember what it is, a Ferrari, as he gets passed by Nico Hulkenberg. We're gonna try to pass him, get a little bit pushed off by the Brit, but we are gonna pass Lando Norris in his Ferrari. And now we are P6 of P19 actually now. As we continue to Max Verstappen, we're going to dive bomb on the inside. He locks up. We've made contact with Max Verstappen, and we are going to be in the P5. That's Devin Butler in front of us, as he is pulling away in his Haas, but we want to try to catch him because they're in front of us in the Constructors Championship. And then on the last lap of our second Grand Prix at Baharain, and I think we are going to finish in P5 and not going to catch up to Devin Butler and his Haas. It is very sad, but P5 is way better than P13 at getting passed by Alex Albon last race at the Australia in the wet, which was not too fun. Hope we don't have another race like that. As now Verstappen is kind of catching up to us, but I don't think DRS is enabled, so he could do what Alex Albon didn't get DRS in the last lap of the Grand Prix, pass us right to the line, but I don't think that's going to happen. As now we actually are catching up to the Brits in the Haas, as Verstappen is kind of catching up, but we are pulling away again, and he will not pass us. as we are like halfway through the lap, almost on the last third. Now we're on the last third of the lap, as Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap, and he's gonna win another Grand Prix for his second win at Baharain. And now we are gonna try to make a move on Devin Butler, but it's not gonna work. And now it's gonna be P5 at the Bahrain Grand Prix, our second race of the season. It's the very good points.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Park Fermé.
P5 is the best result so far because it's the second race. It's better than P13, as now Charles Leclerc did win this race along with the two Alfa Romeos in second and third. So that's going to catch them up to their Ferrari, maybe even past them. As here we go, I believe it's maybe in Lewis Hamilton, and then so it's probably Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and then Sebastian Vettel. Am I right? Let's see here. Nope, I am not right. It's Lewis Hamilton, then Sebastian Vettel, and then it's Charles Leclerc winning the Bahrain Grand Prix, as he does deserve that win a lot in his really good Ferrari car. As we got next race, it's going to be China. I hope you guys see me there tomorrow for that race. As now I see that we are going to check out the constructors and the standings for the championship and
well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He
Charles Leclerc is winning. We are now in P9, but right behind our teammate in the Toro Rosso, then the Fiat, and now we are in third in the championship, as Ferrari is still in first, and then it's Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, and Haas.
Be sure to join us.
See you guys next time. Goodbye.